Hello everyone, and welcome to yet another hardcore gold making guide. Today I will show you the different vendors that I use in the open world to make my gold. So what I do is to purchase these at the vendor and then I resell them either by trading or on the auction house. I've also made a timeline so you can skip to each individual vendor. Anyway, enjoy this video. In Alterac Mountains at this location, you will be able to find this goblin. Here there might be a chance that you can buy the recipe Frost Oil. Of course it depends if someone has already bought this. But this is a decent way to make some gold because you can buy this and resell it on the auction house. Frost Oil is also needed for a quest in Badlands. Therefore it's also gonna be needed by a lot of alchemists or people who would like to craft this oil and resell it. So if you're an alchemist yourself, you could also buy this, craft the oils and sell those on the auction house. The vendor where I've probably made the most profit is from this one in Everlook as well. Here you can buy a lot of different things, for example enchant chest with major health. This is fairly decent, but what I've made the most profit on is either the runecloth bag or the runecloth gloves. As a tailor, both of these is a fairly decent way to level to 300, and the runecloth bag you can for example level with and then you can sell the bags on auction house. Therefore this recipe can also be a bit expensive on the auction house. And the runecloth gloves is needed if you want to reach level 300 fairly easy. Some of these recipes are sold for like 5 and all the way up to 20 times what I've paid. At this hidden location in the hinterlands you can find this female gnome. She sells a pattern for leatherworkers. But I usually don't buy this because I've not made a great profit on it. What I like to do instead is to go into this building and find this male gnome. Here I can buy a schematic for engineers, and this schematic will allow the engineer to summon a dragon. This trinket can be useful in PvP situations, but also in PvE situations if you pull too many monsters. You can then use the dragon to tank some of the targets and then you run away. The next two vendors is located right here in Stranglethorn Vale. You can for example buy this schematic for the scope. To the right of this NPC you can also find another vendor who sells different items. Here you can for example also buy this schematic and this will allow the engineer to craft a trinket, and this trinket will also summon a dragon. You can also buy this material and sometimes you can resell this for a decent profit. The reason for this is because you need this material for a quest in Badlands. You will be able to pick up this quest when you have handed in the other quest that I mentioned earlier in the video about the Frost Oil. The next exotic vendor is located in the southern part of Winterspring. Here you will be able to buy different materials. This vendor might not be here in the first couple of phases, but eventually it will be added in, maybe in phase 4 or 5. If it's at Season of Mastery launch, then what you can buy is for example Groom's Blood, but also Fellcloth. And Fellcloth you can easily resell for a decent profit. What I used to do was to get a low level character to this location. I would then visit the vendor, buy the stuff and log out. And then once in a while, probably every 30 minutes, I could log in and buy new materials. Before you buy too much Groom's Blood, make sure to check the auction house price, because sometimes it might be the same as the vendor. Therefore, I usually just stick to the Fellcloth. In a shower, you can purchase an engineering schematic that allow you to craft a helm that gives you underwater breathing. This is so amazing on hardcore, because now you don't really have to pay attention to your breath any longer, so you're not accidentally going to get killed, at least from the breath. It's also quite amazing when you have to farm specific things under the water. I've made a complete guide for WoW Classic Hardcore where I share all the different tips that I'll be using to make gold as fast as possible, so I can afford my level 40 but also 60 mount. For more information about my gold guide, make sure to check out the description, and I will continue to update this throughout all of WoW Classic Hardcore. On a first server, I find it useful to purchase bronze tubes from different NPCs, for example the engineering NPCs in the different main cities. This trick will only work on a first server for the first couple of days. In Minafell Harbor, in Minafell Keep, you can also find an engineering NPC where you can purchase the bronze tube. The reason why we need these is because in Duskwood there's a quest where you need to hand in a bronze tube. In many different leveling guides, they recommend you to do this quest, also because it unlocks some more quests you can do, and these are fairly easy and grants a decent amount of experience. But this trick will only work for the first couple of days. By then, there will be enough engineers that can craft the bronze tube, and then the price will also go down on the auction house. In Booty Bay, you will find this building right next to the auction house master. In here, you need to look for a goblin, an engineering specific vendor. The item that I tried to flip here is the schematic for the scope. This scope is so important as an engineer, and you can even craft these and flip them on the auction house. The reason for this is because this is a part of an engineering quest, and you need to provide the scope together with some other materials if you wish to become a gnomish engineer. And by the way, if you're here, then you can always post them on the auction house and sell them to the opposite faction as well. When I'm questing in Desoless in my mid-30s, then I also like to find this vendor. Here you can for example buy different scrolls. These I usually use myself to make my leveling a bit easier. But what I also like to buy when I'm here is definitely the cooking recipes. I usually just buy one of each and I try to resell them on the auction house. In Hillspread Foothills you can find Ravenhold. And in Ravenhold there's a building. In this building you will have to go to the basement, and down here you can find a vendor. This vendor sells engineering schematic, and this is for another trinket. This trinket will allow you to turn invisible for 10 seconds. I like to use this trinket in case there's a lot of monsters that I have to skip, but also in PvP situations if I have to make a sneak attack or get away from a fight. As Alliance you can head to Darnassus, and at this location you can buy different recipes for alchemy. For example, the recipe Greater Rage Potion. This is amazing as a warrior. You can also buy the free action potion that is useful for example in PvP situations, and also the mana potion. You can resell some of these as some people don't want to go to locations where you can buy them, and therefore they would rather just buy them on auction house to continue leveling their alchemy. When I level up my own alchemy, I often craft the free action potion because I can resell them so easily to PvP players. That way I also level up my alchemy for free in those level ranges. If you play Horde, then you can head to Orgrimmar. Here you can buy 2 recipes, for example the one for Rage Potion, but also the other one for Greater Rage Potion. In Moonglade I buy 2 formulas and 1 pattern. The pattern will allow the tailor to craft the Fellcloth pants. These pants are amazing for Warlocks and Shadow Priest, and therefore the tailor can also craft these and easily resell them. They can even charge a fee for crafting these. You can also buy and resell this formula, Enchant Cloak with superior defense, and even the formula for the Ruined Arcanite Rod. I usually just buy one of each and then I try to resell them. If I resell them rather fast, then next time I go back to Moonglade, then I always buy another one. Most of the time it's the same case with all the other things that I mentioned in this video. I buy 1 or 2 of each. If you would like to know about my other gold making methods, for example investments, but also gold farming locations at low and high level, then make sure to check out the channel. As always, thank you for watching and have an amazing day. Peace.